This next type of genetics cross is known as a sex-linked trait or a sex-linked cross. It's called a linked trait because the genes that we're going to study are all linked to or found on the sex chromosome, the X sex chromosome. Now you should probably remember that females have XX and males have XY. So right off the bat, you need to understand that these traits are going to affect males and females differently because females have 2 X chromosomes while males only have 1. These were discovered when a scientist was studying fruit flies and he wasn't seeing the patterns that he expected. He was crossing fruit flies and looking at their wings and looking at their eye color and was finding that the ratios he expected that you guys are getting used to seeing in the regular monohybrid Punnett squares were not showing up. And so he realized it was due to the fact that you can have these different genotypes between the males and the females. So let's look at this example. If we look at eye color in fruit flies being a sex-linked trait, and I have my key that red is dominant over white, I could have a homozygous dominant or a heterozygous female that would have red eyes, or I could have a homozygous recessive female that would have white eyes. For males, there's only 2 genotypes rather than the 3 that we see in females. There cannot be a heterozygous male for a sex-linked trait because we never, ever, ever link genes onto the Y chromosome. We only link them onto the X chromosome. So let's take a look at what this looks like. A woman is heterozygous for hemophilia, a sex-linked trait, marries a normal male. What are the person's genotypes? Can they have male children with hemophilia? How about female children with the disease? So we know here that it's a sex-linked trait, and most of the time with these traits, having the trait is recessive. This isn't the best problem because it doesn't specifically state it, but on a test or a quiz, we would let you know that hemophilia is recessive. So having normal blood clotting is dominant. Now this woman is heterozygous, and another word that I want you to know that we sometimes refer to here is calling this woman a carrier. So here's the woman XX, and she's heterozygous for hemophilia. This means she does not actually have hemophilia, but she carries around that recessive trait and could potentially pass it on to her children. So you can call this woman heterozygous, or you could also call her a carrier for hemophilia. She marries a normal male. Again, remember, do not link anything onto that Y. We only need a 4-box Punnett square because these are sex-linked traits. We're never going to break apart the gene from the sex chromosome. So you fill in the Punnett square just how you always would. Okay, and then it asks, what are these person's genotypes? Okay, so we've answered that. Can they have a male child with hemophilia? Yes, this son right here would have hemophilia. And could they have female children with the disease? Well, we'd look just over here, just at the daughters, and that answer would be no. They cannot have any female daughters with the disease. So no daughters, but 50% of their sons would have hemophilia. Here's one more problem. Baldness is a recessive sex-linked trait. Cross a carrier female with a bald male. What percent of their daughters will be bald? What percent of their children will be bald? Pause the video, try this on your own, and then see if you get the same answer as me. Okay, did you get the same answers? I crossed a carrier female, remember that means heterozygous, with a bald male. Put that on the Punnett square. I found that 50% of their daughters would be bald and 50% of their children would be bald. Be very careful when you're counting. There are 2 boxes of females. So one of the 2 boxes of females is bald. There are 4 total children. 2 of the 4 boxes of the children are bald. When you count the sex-linked problems, be very careful to see if you're counting for daughters, sons, or all children.